Des Moines, and all of Central Iowa, welcome to Mac's World Live. Mac's World is your world. Every day we talk about the issues and topics that matter most to you. And as always, it's your voice we want to hear in Mac's World. So join the conversation by calling 515-244-0077. And now, here's the host of Mac's World Live, J. Michael McCoy.
All right, good afternoon. It is 6 minutes after the hour on this 9th day of December. In the Lord's year 2015, J. Michael McCoy, and we are live here in Mac's World Live on 99.3 The Truth. If this is the first time you've listened to this radio station, welcome. We have only been available in the full market since the 4th of July. Well, actually, it wasn't the 4th, was it? It was right before that, or was it right after that?
I think it was right after that, yeah.
Okay. Chris Roloff, that's his voice. He's one of my co-hosts, along with Frank, The Verse, Thomas, and Bob Monster at the Cat in the Hat, and Ryan is producing today, and brother Gary Moon is sitting in. I don't know if we'll hear his voice, but he's in the studio. All right. Lots of news stories to cover. Next hour, a local author who just kind of off the cuff decided to write a book, and the journey, usually a journey is documented in a book, but what happened was the journey of writing the book kind of became the story. Chris Kramer's his name, and he'll be in. Looking forward to seeing him. All right, so let's start. First of all, no details, but we've got a prayer request.
Yes, we do. The president of the Truth Network, his name is Stu Epperson, Jr. I would just ask all of our listeners to pray for him and his wife, just safety and protection for both of them. The Lord knows what's going on. I just pray that you would, I just ask that you guys would pray for them as you're driving or sitting at your office or wherever you're at today. But please, there's a situation and they need your prayers.
Yeah, and the other thing is, I'm always, did I say that I was always?
Yes.
Willing to put out prayer requests for you, the listener. I could think of I can't do it every day. Of course we can't do it every day. But I could think of no better show than to just spend 2 hours lifting people's names up and their challenges. So don't feel like please feel like you can Facebook me those, email those to me, call them into Ryan. That's what we do, man. We call out to the Lord and we say, please, Lord, help us. We need strength. We need your will to be done. We need sanity to be able to sometimes put up with what this world throws out at us, and the only serene feeling sometimes I get is from feeling Jesus' hand in mine. Sometimes that's the only comforting thing that we can get in the midst of a difficult situation. So prayer request always welcome here, always welcome. All right, man, I got some local news stories that are just going to break your heart. Why? What is going on? It just seems like, I don't know what to tell you. I've lived in this town 40 years. 30 years. And it just seems like, it's almost 40 now. It just seems like some things are coming unhitched. We had that daycare operator in Pleasant Hill yesterday. Did you watch that video?
I can't watch videos like that. I saw that someone posted. I just can't.
Yeah, it's on WHO Television's website. And her estranged husband, she had an in-home daycare.
Right.
Her estranged husband knew something was going on, I guess. I don't know. Put a camera up, and this woman, well, you have to watch it. I'm not going to describe it. Just imagine the worst thing that could possibly be in your infant or your young toddler, and that's what this woman did. And she got, 7 years, I think?
I think so. And the thing that scared me was WHO posted, and I saw it on their Facebook wall, and they posted the video, and their comment was, we took out the worst stuff.
Yeah.
Like they whatever that is that they have on their news site is edited.
Yeah, well,
so that's
I can
terrifying.
tell you what the worst side is. She fist clenched, punched a toddler, 3-year-old or whatever. Boom, 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 boom. Like one of those little plastic punching bags, that we used to have when we were kids.
That had sand in the bottom?
Yep.
No, I'm talking like the one Rocky would use.
Oh.
And it'd hang from a ceiling or something. It was unbelievable.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
It's just enraging.
All right, so, well, if that's not bad enough, we have a high school girls basketball coach at Roosevelt High School who has been arrested. No bail, by the way. I don't know if you understand the jail system, but no bail is a big deal. No bail means they're pretty sure he's unstable, there's a high risk for flight, and there's a high risk for his safety. A lot of times bail to keep you in jail is about, especially when it comes to kids' crimes. You have somebody that is accused of sexual impropriety with a child. There's a lot of people out there that call that the end. That's it. I'm done with you, and I'm coming after you. Especially if that man, I mean, he's a coach.
Right. That's what's infuriating, right? I mean,
he's a special ed teacher, and then he's a girls coach. Okay, so complaints were filed this morning. The charges brought against Roosevelt High School basketball coach Gerald Lee Tig Johnson, 46. He was the girls' teacher during the 2014-2015 school year. That'd be now, right? Or no, this is 15-16. So this would be a year ago. He used his position as a school employee to call her on her personal cell phone on December 1st. So that would have been this year. The victim told the defendant that his behavior was making her feel uncomfortable. Des Moines police visited the home on December 3rd to take a report from a 16-year-old girl that said she had been assaulted by her teacher. According to the police report, she'd grown close to Johnson, a special education teacher at the high school. She said that on the 2nd of December, so this is just a week ago, Johnson called her out of class and asked her to come to his own classroom. He then locked the door and started to tell the teen what he, quote unquote, that he does not want to have sex with his wife anymore and that he was sexually attracted to her. I'm uncomfortable reading this.
Yes, I'm uncomfortable hearing it.
Johnson held the girl's hand as he talked to her. He said he would take her out of school during the day to have sex, grabbed her in a couple of places that people shouldn't be grabbed, and French kissed her. When police asked the teen how she reacted, the teen said she felt trapped. After more than an hour, Johnson reportedly walked the girl back to her class on school cameras. Johnson turned himself into Polk County Jail on Tuesday. Oh, there has been a bond now placed. He's charged with sexual exploitation by a school employee and assault with intent to commit sexual abuse with no injury. His court date is next week, Friday. The assault, now you ready for this? Aggravated misdemeanor. The penalty for a sexual exploitation conviction varies based on whether or not prosecutors prove a pattern of sexual conduct. Roosevelt principal Kevin Biggs informed Human Resources over the weekend that police were looking into an incident. This, according to Phil Rader, a spokesman for the district. Johnson was immediately called into the office, put on leave. School districts are required by law to report such accusations. Officials are not releasing details about the investigation. A teacher is assigned to Johnson's class. There's another coach signed up to help the girls. It is quoted as saying, young kids are pretty resilient, but there's also a lot of questions that they have and answers that adults can't give them. And that shakes a lot of people up. Parents at the game declined any comments. This was after a game last past weekend. And there's more and more, but basically that's kind of it. Now,
that's just a terrible story. Yeah.
Now, let's be careful though. We do not have a confession. Okay. We do not have a plea yet. Let's remember, Frank, what was it? The Harvard with lacrosse.
Well, the Duke lacrosse team.
Yeah,
let's also keep in mind the Tawana Brawley story that Al Sharpton was heavily involved in about a 13, 15-year-old girl who accused some people of something like that, and it panned out to be totally false.
Yeah, so I read the story as it was reported by the police. I didn't add anything into it. I just printed it up off the police blotter. Let's remember that innocent until proven guilty. All right, but let's remember that we all know that people of all ages, not just teenage girls or teenage boys, but they can manufacture stories to get attention. She's only 16, so let's just stay calm and not raid the jail and try to hire a posse.
Oh, and one other tidbit on that Duke lacrosse case, that was the prosecutor Mike Nifong, who wouldn't bring the certain exculpatory evidence that would have disproved the Duke lacrosse allegations, is now, I believe, still serving a sentence in prison. I'm not sure if he was ever released, but I think he got 7 years. The prosecutor.
And that ruined lives. I mean, it just ruined those lacrosse lives, ruined the team. I mean, because you just jump to conclusions. You assume that, it's right. And
well, I think that's why we have to be. We were talking about prayer at the beginning of the show. Here's the call to action. Pray that the truth would come to light, whatever it is, that the truth would be revealed, that light would be shown into the darkness.
All right, when we come back, more local stories, news live here on 99.3 The Truth.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
Rock and Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens, rock on! This is Pat McManus for Rock and Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast 1 Live.
21 minutes after the hour, back on the 9th day of December in the Lord's year 2015. Good listener just called in, updated us on that story. That's what I love about listeners. I love them. I love them. I love them. I love them. Understand, you are such an important part of this show. I know you may be used to other talk shows where they sit there and they lord over and they pontificate and there's not a connection. They're just talking. And that's never been me. It's probably why I never went big time. I like local. I like talking to people. I like doing it. Gary, see you later. Thanks for coming by, brother. But anyway, the school teacher is out of jail on bond, and he has a no-contact order on the girl. Now, here's what's sad, that there would even have to be a no-contact order. Are you telling me that this guy? Well, we don't know. I don't want to go down that road.
It says that the no contact order with any minor children will be in place.
Oh, okay.
He's due back in court December 6th or 18th at 8 a.m.
That's a week from Friday. All right. Now, do you remember, let's go back to 2014, and one day we all woke up in the morning, and the sirens were going off, and the police scanners were going off, and the local news stations were all covering this random shooter in where? Pleasant Hill.
Right. Unreal.
This guy was driving around Pleasant Hill shooting at people. His name is Pete Polson, and he was sentenced to 55 years in prison this morning. Polson was sentenced this morning, Polk County District Court. Family members and victim made impact statements. Have you ever been in a courtroom when a family member or victim makes an impact statement?
No, but don't want to be. That's a powerful thing.
Mark Mitchell addressed Polson directly. He said, quote, "I hope you get everything you deserve. There is a special place in hell for guys like you. I hope you spend the rest of your life in prison. I hope you die in there, and then I hope you go to hell." Quote, unquote. That's from Mark Mitchell, who was shot by Polson while he drove around and did crazy stuff. Mitchell's wife, Melissa, who addressed Polson, said, quote, "I got more angry at you knowing you were walking around in a jail cell while Mark laid in a coma." This guy laid in a coma. Victim Zach Whitehill told Polson he still suffers from mobility issues in his arm because of the shooting, and now he has a permit to carry. The third victim, Matt Stevenson, said, quote, "You will get what you get. I hope he throws it at you, buddy." Meaning, I'm thinking he's thinking the judge.
The book, as it were.
Yeah. Polson also made a statement at his sentencing. He said he had accepted that he may spend the rest of his life in prison, and he was sorry. He also said, "I wish now that every bullet would have hit me instead." In October, a jury found Pete Polson guilty of 2 attempted murder counts, 2 counts of assault, 2 counts of willful injury causing serious injury, intimidation with a dangerous weapon, conspiracy to deliver a controlled substance, possession of a controlled substance with intent to deliver, and failure to affix a drug stamp. During the trial, Polson claimed not to remember the shooting because why? He was on drugs. Frank?
Well, that's I was going to ask. Was there a motive for it?
He was on drugs.
Don't do drugs, kids. Drugs are bad. Don't do them. You do stupid stuff like this. You know? I mean, I read that. That was one of the first things. This guy was high on drugs, doing this stuff.
Now, if any
don't do drugs.
If any protected class had happened to have gotten hit by one of those bullets, it would have been what, a hate crime?
Could have been. I mean, I don't know how.
Possibly
without somebody dying. I mean, the judge threw everything at 55 years, and he didn't kill anybody, and it happened in one day. I don't know about priors. It didn't mention priors, so usually if it doesn't mention priors, that means priors weren't important.
What? What are you saying, man? You're saying they were too hard on him?
Oh no.
Oh.
Oh no. Oh no, I'm sorry. I don't want you to hear that at all.
All right. Well, maybe I'm dumb and deaf.
No, this guy's a terrorist.
Sure.
This guy is a terrorist. He doesn't belong to ISIS. He doesn't have a skin color different than mine. He he was just whacked out on drugs and scared the heck out of many people, shot several of them.
Was there a domestic terrorism charge in that?
Nope, there wasn't. And I don't know why. I thought the same thing when I saw the news. No.
Well, I do appreciate that you reported on it. Just a reminder, don't do drugs, don't shoot people.
Yeah.
It seems like we should remember these things. But, I read these things, and this guy, I don't think he got up in the morning before he did drugs thinking, you know what I'm going to do? So I'm going to get really high and go shoot. I hope not. I don't know, but dumb choices lead to bad consequences.
Now, there's no prior relationships.
Right.
So he didn't go after. He just started driving around one morning in Pleasant Hill shooting at people.
Right, and we wonder why. You hear people talk about drugs are a bad thing. This is one of the many reasons why drugs are a bad thing. It's not just because they're bad for you to do. They make you do dumb, bad things. This guy's his life is gone. 55 years of this guy's life is going to be spent in jail because he got high and did something stupid.
He's got a minimum 27 years.
Right.
So he won't serve a day less than 27 years.
Now, and he's in his 20s, in his 30s. I didn't say how old he was.
Did anybody sitting in this room when you were young, did your mother ever tell you don't do drugs and don't go shoot people?
No, my mother.
Except for Johnny Cash.
Gave me drugs.
Right. See, and that's what I'm saying. This is my public service. Don't do drugs and don't go shooting people.
I don't know how old he is. I'm going to guess he's probably 30. Yeah. So he's going to be 57.
This is it for this guy. And I'm not making light of it. I just think, I do, in fact, there doesn't seem to be a lot of premeditated motive when I read that story, and I just thought, this is just why we should think before we act. I know that seems so simple, but don't we just forget that sometimes? But we just think, let's just have fun, get drugs, let's go party. Bad things happen when you do that stuff.
But people who have frontal lobe damage doesn't have that ability to think before they act, because of your frontal lobes is what controls your impulses.
And you're saying the drugs he was taking had impacted his frontal lobe?
Potentially, yeah. Because
he could have just been a stupid piece of white trash.
Well, but wait a minute. But that's why don't do drugs. That's why, I know.
Well, that's the thing is you don't know what you're going to get.
Right.
Well, and people can mix other types of drugs in a powder that you think may be one thing, and it actually is a multiple things. And that's why people die all of a sudden, and that's why they do crazy things.
That's right. Don't do drugs. Don't hang out with people that do drugs. Don't do drugs.
And women who drink while they're pregnant, prenatally, their babies are getting frontal lobe damage. So pay attention to what you're doing when you're pregnant and your child is in the womb. Protect the child.
There you go.
All right. Here's an interesting story. So 4 metro cities are considering sharing resources to cut down. The press release says to cut down on emergency response times. According to the Des Moines Register, fire departments in Clive, Urbandale, Waukee, and West Des Moines are working on an agreement. It would send units from the closest station to an emergency, no matter the address of the call. Officials say it could save both time and money, ching, 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 as the number of calls are outgrowing resources. Now, it was just announced last month that a plan to merge fire services between Clive, my city, and Windsor Heights was voted down by the Windsor Heights City Council. This is an opportunity for cities to save money. All right. The challenge is we'll never see that savings. Our tax bill will not go down because the cost of having fire between 2 cities is now shared. It's a good idea. Why is Windsor Heights standalone and Clive standalone Clive? That's just the way the borders fell 100 years ago, whatever it was.
But they're not going to. They're saving money by not spending more money, right? This is saving money not by reducing spending. They're saving money by saying, look, you've got a fire department. We've got a fire department. When we can help you, we'll help you. And when you can help us, we're going to help us. In other words, aren't they just saving money by not spending more? As I think the way you're describing this is they're going to reduce the force. They're doing this to increase the force without spending more money, right?
Yes. But what I would tell you, Chris, is that's what they want you to believe. The cities want you to believe that they're going to save money and increase the coverage.
Okay.
For the fire departments. You know, you've got, I don't know what they make, but a fire chief in these type of cities are six figures. They're 125, 150,000. Now you eliminate a fire chief. You probably eliminate an assistant chief. You probably eventually tear down one old building and build one that's closer between the two cities, and all of a sudden now you have 4 stations in Clive Windsor Heights, where before you had 1 and 1. Or
you're saying down the road.
This is a slippery slope.
You're saying I gotcha. You're saying in the future the consolidation. This is consolidation. This is two corporations in a sense coming together and then downsizing. That's what you see this is going to turn into.
This is the beginning. This is Big Brother. I'm sorry, I'm cynical. Can you see my tinfoil hat?
A little bit, yeah.
This is the beginning of a city reducing their expenses but not cutting taxes. And this will work fine until somebody dies. And God forbid that person that dies, well, first of all, it's horrible that somebody would die because of fire and saving money. But if someone who is someone or some media institution, the Des Moines Register maybe, who's very liberal, and I'm not knocking them, I'm just saying they are what they are. Somebody ought to admit what they are. And somebody dies over money, that's not going to be
But isn't
acceptable.
this the police departments too?
4 metro cities, yes, they're considering emergency response times with fire and police.
Well, my thought
it's also one world order. I mean, I don't want to get too freaky on you, but
now the tinfoil hat, I can see it clearly now.
Well, now what you've got is, and then you've got the Polk County Sheriff saying, "Well, wait a minute, why do we even need police departments?" You've got a tremendous amount of strife between county sheriffs and local police, because that county sheriff or deputy can go anywhere he wants in Polk County. That Windsor Heights cop, he's got boundaries. That West Des Moines cop, he's got boundaries. Now, I'm not saying they slam on their brakes at the property line.
Sure.
But if a West Des Moines cop goes into Clive, there can be nothing happening officially until a Clive officer arrives. So if you reduce those boundaries, you save money, but you'll never see that on your tax bill.
Well, I believe that. I mean, they're going to spend the money somewhere else. That I believe that, but I don't know about this whole,
one world order,
one world order thing. I don't know.
A county sheriff's up for vote. You vote those people in.
That's right. You do.
Police aren't, but. This makes sense to me. I don't know. Clive, Urbandale, Windsor Heights, and West Des Moines, these aren't high crime areas. And it's, to me it makes sense because these suburbs, I don't think can justify the police departments and the expenditures they got going now.
And I can hear Frank, and I hear him. I like him. I know what he's saying. I'm just telling you, I know how the media and the public is when they can link somebody's death because there was not somebody close enough and they've tried to save money and my tax bill did not go down, there's going to be heck to pay.
Just on a side note, this is kind of interesting. We talked about this a couple of broadcasts ago about how few people vote in city council stuff. This is just an evidence. When big government people vote, big government things happen.
We're coming back live on The Truth.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
I'm Brian Leach, owner of Service Legends, and my position is Chief Talent Officer.
I'm Nicholas Wonderscheid.
I am Bernie Hobbs.
And I'm the Service Manager.
Marketing Director and Client Relations Manager.
Everything that we do is about ensuring that we exceed your expectations.
Our clients are important to us. 100% satisfaction.
We're not just focused on heating and cooling. That's the easiest part of our job, actually, is fixing furnaces and air conditioners.
Everyone that we come in touch with, we want to improve lives.
Bottom line is, we've got our installation guarantees, 25% energy savings guarantee, comfort guarantee, temperature selection guarantee, property protection guarantee.
100% satisfaction guaranteed. Fixed rate or it's free.
All of those guarantees are backed up with a 100% money-back guarantee to hold ourselves accountable to making sure that you get what you're after.
Just fixing the problem today. If they have another problem 5 days down the road, it's still fixed right or it's free.
We use what's called straightforward pricing. Our technicians are going to give you an exact to-the-penny price on what it's going to take before they move forward with any repair. That way you know what to expect.
It's the same price every day.
No surprises.
If you get off work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you come home, you realize that, oh, my furnace is broken. Now you need to call somebody out that night. You shouldn't have to pay more for that.
We're guaranteeing service 24/7.
We run afternoons, evenings, nights, weekends. We're staffed to work that.
Phone rings at 3 in the morning. You'll get one of our representatives answering the phone every time.
We're not sending you out to Timbuktu in some call center. It's our Service Legend team members, our mission control team.
I'll take a call anytime.
And then they answer the phones the same way during the day as they do at night.
It's a great day at your service company. How can we make you smile?
That's the only way to provide true 24-hour service.
When you're able to let somebody actually live in their home safely when they weren't able to do that before, where they don't have to stay up at night and worry about, is the heat going to come back on? Are we going to freeze the pipes? Is the baby in the room next door going to be sick because they got too cold? When you're able to help somebody overcome challenges like that, that's impacting a life. That makes a difference. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
I love the team. I love the people that I work with.
We have fun, but we work hard.
I call them my ambassadors of legendary service. If you could just envision what that is, that's who we're sending to your home.
They literally will call in, pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I want to talk to your manager. And I get on the phone, they're like, that technician that was at my house was the greatest technician ever. That's cool to me.
We want to brighten people's days.
Every person that we have going into the house has gone through an extensive background check.
Drug testing, we have a very thorough interview process that 1 out of 140 people make it through.
If we promise you something, that's what you're going to get, no matter what.
We're here when you need us to protect the safety and comfort of your family.
If you're not happy, we're gonna make it right.
If we're willing to put 100% money back guarantee on what we do, what type of work do you think we do?
Give us a call. We're there for you 24/7, 365 days a year.
Enough said.
Right. 3:38. 22 before the top of the hour. Can I tell people what we're talking about? No? Okay. All right. Coming up next hour, Chris Kramer wrote a book. And the journey in writing the book is what's the real cool story. Perhaps even cooler than the book itself. He's a local author, and he's going to be in here, and he's going to be talking about that for us in the next hour. All right. We did have Donald Trump scheduled, and then that fell apart. Hopefully he'll be on later. I had 3 great questions I was going to ask him, and they didn't have anything to do with building a wall or bringing a Muslim in or anything like that. I don't think anybody's asking this. You know what I was going to ask him? Tell me about your relationship with Jesus.
He doesn't have one, Mac. I'm sorry. I don't think he does.
Well, I want to ask him.
And he's going to give you the best answer he can give you without saying I don't have one.
And then my listeners will know that maybe
I would hope that everybody that listens to 99.3, if you're for Trump, that's fine. Be for Trump. I don't have a problem with that. But let's not be for Donald Trump because let's not pretend like the guy's a Christian. That's just my opinion. Let's just call a spade a spade. The guy has a faith. He's not a Muslim. Like, he's probably more of a Christian than he's a Muslim, right? But he's a Christian by proximity.
He's a Presbyterian.
No, he's not me.
Right? Isn't he?
There's a lot of Presbyterians in the world.
Who was the pastor that he was at?
No, the guy that he gave homage to is not a Presbyterian minister. He's the
Norman Vincent Peale,
who is the self-help or the kind of
power of positive thinking.
The power of positive thinking guy. That's not a gospel message.
Wasn't he a Presbyterian?
He said he's a Presbyterian, man. But seriously, there are Presbyterian churches where you don't even got to believe that there's a God, and you can go to those Presbyterian churches, be an active member, serve on the board. It doesn't really matter. And I'm not trying to look. I would like Donald Trump to have a stronger relationship with Jesus because I think that's important. But let's not pretend like the guy's this evangelical champion. Okay, he's Donald Trump. He is who he is, right?
Right.
I mean, Bob, you're kind of. I mean, I don't.
I'm giggling over here.
Does anybody think? I don't know. You and I were there, man. I was there when the guy admitted to his national audience. The guy's not a Christian. He's a great guy, though.
I
got a little too excited about that. I don't know.
Well, the
like Donald Trump, that's fine.
The farther my relationship, the deeper my relationship gets with Jesus, the more wiggle room I give somebody that I see at church on Sunday who believes in their heart of hearts that they also can be called a Christian.
Yes. Look, right.
Right?
Okay, fine.
Yes.
Maybe I'm being a bit mean.
No, you're not. You're fine.
I'm just saying that, look, this is not a comment about someone's ability to be president. But I played it on the air last week.
Yep,
Marco Rubio explaining who he believes Jesus is.
Right.
Bang up job.
Did you get that?
I love
yet,
Donald
Ryan?
Trump. Don't think Donald Trump could come anywhere near that close. And that's not because he's at a different journey. Sam Clovis said it best. Trump's in a different place on his journey. We all have a faith journey. We all have a faith story. Yeah. We're all moving down a long path, and some of us come to Christ at different points in our life, and I understand that. I'm just saying, let's not pretend like he's something he's not. That's all I'm saying.
Was your questions purposely great for a reason? Because Donald Trump is always expounding how great he is, and instead of giving the greatness and the credit to God, that God is great?
Well, I'm just tired of... I live in Iowa. We've had how many presidential candidates in this studio or on the phone? We've seen how many at rallies, and I'm just tired of the same questions. So I want to know a little bit more about these people. I know he wants to build a wall. I'd like to know why the man has never. Do you know that Donald Trump does not drink, smoke, chew, do any kind of drugs? He doesn't even like to take an aspirin.
I would say because he's a smart guy. Those are smart choices. Those are smart life choices. We just talked about that earlier today. Don't do drugs.
Yeah,
I mean, you do drugs, you do dumb things.
Don't shoot people.
Don't shoot people. These are good things to remember. You know what I mean? And Donald Trump's a smart man, and he knows that if he wastes his time, it's a waste of time to get drunk. The guy wants to be successful. Why do you want to sit around drinking all the time? He's busy making money. Hey, that's great. It's a better choice than getting hammered.
Well, you're wound up today, aren't you?
My coffee kicked in.
You're finally. All right. Now there's a lot of mumbo jumbo out there about the fact that Donald Trump said that Muslim immigrants should be temporarily not be allowed to be in this country, and maybe even bring up some that are already here and start to question them. And the media is just loving to rip on Trump. Once again, he said this big thing, and he's sucking all the air out of the room.
Can I say amen?
Amen.
Well, he's definitely trying to get back on top. I definitely believe that was a big part of why he made that inflammatory statement. Yeah, absolutely.
Right,
absolutely.
Now, whoa. Why did you say inflammatory?
Well, are you paying attention? Did it not inflame the people? I mean, that's what an inflammatory statement is saying. I'm not saying I agree or disagree with it.
Oh, okay.
Here's an inflammatory statement. Jesus Christ is the only way. No one comes to the Father except through Jesus Christ. That's an inflammatory statement.
Yeah.
It's absolutely true. It still inflames people when you say things like
Chris, the day that Mac offered you to take home a bag of 100 grapes, but one poison grape, you turned that offer down. So all Trump is saying is if there's just one bad grape in 100 legal Muslim immigrants, why do we want that?
Like I said, I'm not making a judgment call on the statement. I'm just saying he made an inflammatory statement so that he could get back in the press. That's it.
All right, let's go to the phones where John is standing by. John called in yesterday on Trump. He'll call in today. John, how are you? You're live in
I know,
World.
John, you're going to vote for Trump, aren't you?
Hello?
Hey, are you still at Costco?
No, this is the other John.
Oh, okay,
John,
the other
okay.
John, sorry.
Yeah, I was the guy, my closing comment was that I would vote for Trump even if I had to write his name in.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember, yes, sir.
After I hung up, I realized maybe I should have given a reason why I think that. To me, the bottom line is the bottom line. We're $18 trillion in debt. And Trump knows business. He knows how to get all the money that's in foreign countries back into this country where it can be invested. He knows how to create businesses. He knows how to create jobs. And, Planned Parenthood, ISIS, all these other issues that are important to me are going to pale if our economy goes bust and we're paying $25 for a loaf of bread. Things are going to get really, really ugly if our economy gets turned on its ear. And we need to address this debt. And that's why I'm for Trump. I believe he's most capable at doing that. And to me, that's what's most important. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Hey, John, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I appreciate your comment. And I honestly, I think John makes a really great point. Here's what I would add to what John said. Trump is fantastic on economics. He's smart. He's a business guy. He knows how to make a buck. He knows how to negotiate. Why doesn't he focus talking about that? You know,
because it's not sexy.
Because it's not. And I don't know. The thing that makes me nervous is he's really great on economics. I think he would do fantastic. But when he makes these kinds of statements that aren't fully thought through, it's a complex issue. Look, Muslims coming to the United States and the Muslims that are in the United States, that how we relate with our Muslim friends, okay, and then many of them are our friends, is a difficult situation. We can't just say crazy inflammatory things without thinking them through. I think Trump is great on economics. Those other things make me nervous, man. We don't just build a wall and make Mexico pay for it. Come on, that's rhetoric. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm a little too fired up.
I don't think it's rhetoric. And see what I hear you saying, and Frank, you can go. What I hear you saying is we need to be PC.
No. I'm not saying. I'm saying Trump. I'm saying it's a more complex issue than Trump is making it. Trump is saying the easy thing.
And to John's point, I think I've heard that there's about $1 trillion that's sitting offshore that could be brought back into this country, and we're shooting ourselves in the foot for not doing so.
And I would argue that I think Trump could probably get that money back on this side of the water.
That's right.
All right. We're going to take a break when we come back. And the point that I wanted to make before Mr. Rant over here went off is Jimmy Carter did this. Jimmy Carter did what Trump is talking about doing.
Yeah.
All right, we'll talk about that when we come back live on The Truth.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
Rockton Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens. Rock on. This is Pat McManus for Rockton Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast 1.
All right, 10 minutes before the top of the hour, let's go to the phones where Tana Goertz is standing by, who is Donald Trump's Iowa. I think she's his chairperson, maybe, or assistant chairperson, and she was the one that was on the show The Apprentice and works for Donald. Tana, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Nice to talk to you again.
Yeah, nice to talk to you. Well, I was just driving along, and I happened to hear Chris's comments about Mr. Trump, and this has nothing to do with the fact that I work for the man. My comment has to do with the fact that I know the man personally, unlike most of the people that are making judgment about him. I've met his family. I've had him mentor me. I've had him help me as an Iowa woman, as a mother, as an entrepreneur. And I know firsthand that Donald Trump has a relationship with Jesus Christ. And for Chris to make that comment that he doesn't, I find that so ironic that this is what my pastor talks about on Sunday sermons, that there's Christians running around, walking around that are casting judgment like this, that's not what we are supposed to be doing as a Christians. We are not supposed to be saying who has a relationship and, oh my gosh, because Mr. Trump's relationship with Jesus Christ isn't what ours is, that he's less of a Christian. And I'm just appalled at hearing that. Completely 100% appalled, because I know he does, and I've seen it. And you just go ahead and ask right now off the top of my head, I have 100 examples of how he's shown grace and mercy and how he has helped people who have needed help financially, spiritually. He's shown kindness. There's people that are showing up at his Des Moines rally on Friday night that have told me stories of kindness, that there are people that sit next to me every single Sunday that couldn't even spew out one example of Christianity. And for Chris to say that just shocked me.
Well, and also, Tana, let's you and I talk for a minute about the young man that a lot of people don't know about yet, and we're going to have him here on the radio. And that
I hope you have Todd.
Todd Layden. And Todd is a wounded... Go ahead.
Oh, my gosh. Well, let me just tell you that story. Thank you for bringing that to your listeners' attention. Mr. Trump is saying he's going to change what's going on in the vets and the VA, and how our vets, our American heroes, have been treated so horribly. And he's going to change that when he becomes the president of the United States. And I know the man, once again, unlike most people who are spewing out hatred towards this man, I've seen firsthand that he puts his money where his mouth is, and he actually speaks the talk and walks the walk. And what he did at a rally was he had an opportunity for people had the opportunity to ask any questions that they wanted. And I had worked the crowd prior, and I met this wounded warrior named Todd Landon in Sioux City. And I said to Mr. Landon that I was so happy that he was at this rally, and that if Mr. Trump met him, Mr. Trump would help him. And he said, oh, well, I've heard that so much. I said, no, you haven't heard that from Donald Trump's mouth. So I said, if we have an opportunity for Q&A, please ask a question. I guarantee you Mr. Trump will help you. And Q&A comes around, and I practically put the microphone to the guy's mouth. He wasn't expecting to ask a question, and he asked the question. And Mr. Trump said, wow, are you a veteran? And he said, I am, sir. I'm a wounded warrior. And he said, just one moment. He got down from the podium. He came right over to Mr. Landon and his wife, April, and their darling little daughter, Bree, and he heard what Mr. Landon's question was, and it was, how are you going to help? I have to have X amount of surgeries, and the VA's left me out to dry, and they're not doing anything for me and all my other veterans that are wounded. And Mr. Trump said, I promise you, Todd, I will cause such a ruckus that the VA, when I make all the calls I'm going to make to get you the care that you need, they will say, fine, let's take care of Todd Landon to get Donald Trump to shut up. And the place erupted, and Mr. Trump said to me, Tana, get me that man's name and number. I got Mr. Trump's man's name and number. By the time Trump was on the plane, ride home from Sioux City, we had all of Todd's contact information. Todd has been in touch with the Trump campaign and Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump offered to fly him to to get him to the Milwaukee debate so that he could, acknowledge him. But Todd is in a wheelchair and wasn't able to make the travel. And Todd we've been in touch ever since. And he said, what Mr. Trump has done for me, knowing him for less than 1 month, is more than any politician, anyone has ever done for me in my entire life. And I hope you have him on your show and he can share with you more of the specifics.
Yeah, I've got Todd's contact information, and we plan to have him on. And see, where Tana's coming from is a place that I come from so many times. I sit here on the radio and I hear people say things about national candidates or national personalities, or they might even say something about you, Tana, or about me, or about your husband, or something like that.
Right.
And then you get somebody who calls in and says, wait a minute, I know her.
Right.
I know Tana. I worked with Tana. Tana and I go to church together. I worked with her husband. I work with Mr. Trump. I got that all the time with Mitt Romney. I mean, I got to work with Mitt Romney very closely here in Iowa. He was at my house many times. His wife, and my wife spent time together. When people tried to tell me,
I get very frustrated.
Yeah.
Well, because someone like Chris spewing out all this stuff, you are influencing people who don't make their own decisions and listen to people that have a platform like you do and make judgments as to, okay, now I'm going to go caucus. Oh, well, I remember on The Truth that someone said Donald Trump doesn't have a relationship with Jesus. Okay, I'm going to vote for this person. Well, I say, no. Don't make assumptions and generalizations unless you know firsthand he doesn't. And I know firsthand that he does. But pushing all that aside, this isn't even about the vote. This isn't even about Donald Trump running for president, because he can do it all he's doing it all on his own without any help from the media, without any help from anybody building him up and saying, he's father of the year, he doesn't drink or do drugs or smoke. Thank you for making that point. And not talking about the millions of dollars he's raised for various charities. This is about one Christian making a judgment about another person. That is not what Christianity is. That is not what my pastor preaches about on Sunday. He says we are the reason, and I'm meaning we as in Christians, the three of us that I know are in the room. I don't know who else is in the room, and I don't know their relationship, but Chris already professed that he's a Christian. I know you are, and I know I am. And this is what my pastor says. The three of us are the reason why people have a bad taste in their mouth about Christianity, because they're running around making judgment like, oh, well, they're not good enough Christian because they don't carry their Bible with them. Oh, I'm sorry. Curtis is a better Christian than me because Curtis actually carries his Bible to church. My Bible's down in my office. So let's put parameters on how good of a Christian we are. That's not what our Lord and Savior and God or Jesus or whatever you want to call who you look up to. That's not what he has in mind.
Tana, I'm up against a hard break. And
I better let you go.
you're welcome here anytime.
I just wanted to tell you my thoughts, and I thank you for taking my call. Have a great day, and God bless you.
Anytime, Tana Gertz, anytime.
All righty. Take care.